but heavy mental. We talking about the Bible is Pan-Africanism. I see a lot of our FBA and even our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean that may be a Christian, may be a Jew, may be a Muslim, may be all of that. You see what I'm saying? They could be from one of these obscure damn denominations. You know what I'm saying? And but when we get to the root of the truth about the Bible is a product of Africa. And that just show you that, like Dr. Ben say, if you don't know the history of your goddamn religion, you ain't nothing but a fool in the damn religion. Many of you niggas dive straight into a swimming pool that ain't got no damn water. That's what's wrong with y'all. Do you know how it feels to dive into a swimming pool that don't have water? Well, that's the same, equivalent of somebody that's a part of a religion and they don't know the history of their religion. So for all you peoples out there that Christian, and I see a lot of FBA that's Christian, well, you don't know the goddamn Bible, and I'm sick of you niggas perpetrating the fraud. That just like, let me get in here. Let me get in here. That just like, when you say Christian, you just saying Christian because you see a nigga holding the Bible, but then you ask that nigga, open that Bible up and explain to me what's in that book. Explain to me what's in that damn book. And you'll find out niggas don't even know the book. They listen to the reverend and who don't know the book. And they regurgitate 2 or 3 verses that they hear the reverend teach, but they don't know nothing about that book. So for all the people out here talking about, and I'm trying to figure this out, because I go deep. I ask serious questions. Because people believe in the Bible. But the Bible says that life originated in Africa. I seen somebody say, I seen a woman, she had a video up, right? And she was talking about, scientific theory that all people come out of Africa. You never heard the general say that all people came out of Africa. I said African people came out of Africa. You ain't never heard me say no damn all people ever came out of Africa. If you ain't got no melanin in your goddamn skin, how the fuck is you gonna come out of Africa? That don't even make no sense. You see what I'm saying? But hey, people come up with whatever they fuck they want to come up with. And that's why you got goddamn skin cancer rates through the goddamn roof. Because people can believe whatever the fuck they want to believe. But nature gonna tell your ass better than anybody. So you can believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. So, but she said that science is teaching that all peoples come out of Africa. But the fact is, number one, the Bible teach that that's where humanity began. It didn't say all people. It says the original stock, the chosen, came out of Africa. It says Eden, and it speaks about a paradise, and it speaks that all the animals on the planet was in that paradise. And so when you look at Africa and you look at all the magnificent animals that's on the planet, Africa is that Eden that we speak about. Matter of fact, the Bible says Ethiopia. So what the fuck is y'all talking about? See, y'all quit because you Christian. And a lot of FBAs is Christian, which they believe in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? But they don't believe but the Bible is Pan-African. You understand what I'm saying? It's about that bloodline supporting one another throughout the book. Yes, there's some discrepancies in the book. Yes, there's some discrepancy. Let me show you one form of Pan-Africanism. Now, the first form of Pan-Africanism in the Bible, and we dealing with Africa, is the story of Joseph. We know these are stories. But yet and still it takes place in Africa, and this is the religion that you believe in. A lot of y'all believe that the Bible is literal. So we want to talk about Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers. And, he was sold to the Ishmaelites, who sold Joseph to a priest in Egypt. His name was Potiphar. He sold Joseph, and Joseph was raised in Egypt. And after he grew up, his brothers, the 11, he was the 12th brother. He would have been, well, he wasn't actually the 12, but he was one of the 12 sons of Israel. And one day when the whole area that they called Canaan was in famine, they had to come into Egypt to feed them motherfuckers out there. Everybody in that region, in Arabia, in Canaan, all what you call the Middle East, had to come into Egypt to buy grain, because Egypt was the only nation in that area that had grain. You see what I'm saying? So right there in the Bible, it's showing proof, because the way that these motherfuckers treat us today, I would have left their ass out there in the desert to starve. If we would have knew what we know today of how them people would backbite us and turn on us, we should have left their ass out there in the desert. But see, we got a good heart. We got a good heart. And so we can't, we don't want to see people starve to death. So we fed the Israelites. And Joseph asked Pharaoh, could you let my father, my vagabond father and brothers, could they come into Egypt? Because they ain't gonna be able to survive out there on their own. And Pharaoh say, look, and you could be an Israelite. You could be an Israelite. That don't change this story. That don't change this story. That you see, y'all talk about the Pharaoh that supposedly enslaved y'all ass. Y'all don't talk about the Pharaoh that fed your ass and did not have to feed you. Because Pharaoh did not have to sell grain to Jacob. He could have left Jacob ass out there in the desert. But he chose to sell a grain and feed their ass and give them land. He shouldn't have never gave the Israelites no damn land. You see what I'm saying? He should have left their ass out there in the desert to turn into beef jerky. He should have let their ass rot out there in that desert. But being kind, which they never, they always, if you talking about tethers, the Israelites are tethers. That's what a tether is. The Israelites are tethers of the ancient Egyptians. Majority of them peoples in the book are tethers. Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians, and he was mighty in word and in deed. They learned everything that they could from Africa, and then they took that wisdom and turned on the Africans. You see, so Joseph in Africa was one of the first aspects of Pan-Africanism in the book. Another one was when Herod, when Jesus was a baby, and Herod, which was the king of I don't even think it was still Israel at that time. It may have been Palestine. I don't know if it was Palestine. It may have been, I think Jesus might have been born in Palestine. You see, so it may have been Palestine at that time. And Herod, or maybe it was Judea, one of them. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it was still Israel. So I think the Romans had seized control of it. So I think it was Palestine. And so Herod was seeking the life of Jesus. And God came to Joseph in a dream and say, Joseph, arise and take the mother and child and flee into Egypt. He didn't say go into Sumeria. See, y'all always talk about that bullshit about y'all laid some bricks, some bricks of mud and straw, and y'all enslaved. Yeah, because y'all was traitors, nigga. When that ain't how the relationship started off. Y'all, the Africans was beneficial to you punk motherfuckers, and then y'all came in and thought y'all was bigger than us. That's what happened. And so when you started collaborating with enemies of Egypt, then they put their foot in your punk ass. And then that's how your ass ended up. If you was enslaved, that's how you got enslaved. You was a collaborator, but that ain't how the relationship started. Egypt was beneficial to the Israelites, was beneficial to Jesus. He came in, they offered him refuge. You understand? Oh, you got an African black family fleeing from this tyrannical goddamn ruler up in Palestine. Come on in, family. Offer them refuge. Brought them on in. That's Pan-Africanism. You see, and it is Africa. Egypt is Africa. So the fact that you niggas, and the Bible says that humanity started in the East. But now niggas want to try to rewrite the story, talking all this shit, talking about Canada is Canaan. And I say, boy, if that ain't tetherism, nigga, y'all talking about tetherism, niggas talking about the real Egypt is in America. Nigga, I done been to Egypt and America, and I can guarantee you, Egypt is not in America. Ain't shit over here even coming close to what was over there in the time period. And that just show you how confused you niggas is. You got mounds and shit and all of that. And over here, man, they got mind-blowing monuments, see, this is niggas that skip school, that don't want to deal with the higher sciences. They don't want to deal with geometry. They don't want to deal with high, mathematics, algebra, scientific theory. They want to play with mythology and shit. You see what I'm saying? Egypt require motherfuckers step up on a different level, deal with certain type of sciences and technology that you don't have to deal with when you just explaining mythology in mud and in mounds and shit. You don't have to use that. You see what I'm saying? So I can guarantee you Egypt is not in America. That's tetherism. You have never heard nobody ever say that shit. And Egypt started in 3000 AD, dynastic Egypt, up into maybe 2010. You talking about over 5,000 years. You have never heard nobody say Egypt. And in 2020, here come a confused nigga want to talk about the real Egypt is in America. If you ain't a confused nigga, you is confused. You understand what I'm saying? If that was so, then it would have been said thousands of years ago. You ain't never heard nobody say that. You know why? Because it ain't true. It ain't true. You made it up, nigga. You was you was somewhere smoking crack, and something came into your head. Egypt is in America. And then you ran straight to the internet, and you know certain shit you should keep to yourself. You should never say the shit out loud. I ain't watching comments, family. You know what I'm saying? So I just, that's just my thing. So you can type whatever. I'm not watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying focused on my teaching. So to be critical, the Bible starts in Africa, in Ethiopia, in the interior of Africa. You understand what I'm saying? That the Israelites were trained in Egypt. And you Christian. You see what I'm saying? And that Egypt was called the land of Ham. Ham was one of Noah's sons. And I can show you all through Jesus' genealogy where his bloodline goes to Africa. But this is your Christ figure. So I'm trying to figure this out. How can you be a foundational Black American with a white Jewish Messiah? You won't even deal with his true lineage. You won't even deal with his true lineage. You want the white Jesus. You don't want to identify with no part of Africa. So y'all rather say, oh man, this shit was over here. Y'all Boy, if that ain't a man, something is mentally fucked up with y'all, man. Y'all is fucked up in the mind. Real talk. Any area of history, anywhere where you see Africa, y'all niggas get the, oh man, we gotta change this shit. I ain't no African. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere you see it, that's a psychosis, man. Y'all got a serious psychosis with Africa. I'll see y'all in a minute, family. Get down there, click that link. Patreon, General Seti. Y'all already know, Too Raw for YouTube. I got it for you, family. General Seti, Etsy, One Stop. Get over there, get that classic material. HD. You already know what it is. I'm done with the comments, family. I'm sorry. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I had to stay focused. I had to stay focused so that I could teach. I'll see y'all in a minute. Black Pop.